Welcome back to the Hooptopia podcast. I am your host, Quan, and today we have a very special show joined by the very special guest. This man is a three-time Plus League champion, two-time Finals MVP, and a scoring champ in 2023. Honestly, he needs no introduction, but Mike Singletary, everyone. How you doing, Mike?
What's going on, Quan? Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be on and talk a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I shared the story with you when we had a call before the show recording, but I told you that my mom is a big fan. Like, she started watching basketball because of my work. Obviously, she was not a fan before that, but she adopted you as her favorite player. Real,
Hey, I
yeah.
love that. I love it. I love it. That makes me happy, man. I love that.
And yeah, no, she was just like, "Hey, ask how's Mike doing? Like, what is he doing right now?" Like, I'm like, "I don't know, mom. Like, I gotta ask him. Like, we're not like chummy like that."
we
But
got we got to ask the question, Mom. We got to ask the question.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's kind of my segue into, like my mom is one of many fans in Taiwan that
Yeah.
are very interested in like what you've been up to. So like,
Yeah.
can you share a little bit on like what you've been doing lately? What's been
Yeah.
keeping you busy?
Yeah. I think right now, like my role has been kind of strange right now because obviously I'm so used to being in the season and preparing and doing those things. So obviously I'm still, working out, keeping my body ready. And honestly, right now I'm just being kind of full time dad. Honestly, like I think that's kind of what it is. It's being full time dad and being, and still working out and staying ready for the opportunity that's to come. So that's really what my day consists of is making sure my kids survive and and just really honestly just getting my body right and making sure that when my numbers call that I'll be ready.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and being a parent is obviously a full-time job. My
Yeah,
parents remind me
nonstop,
all the time. Yeah.
nonstop, never ends, never ends.
Yeah, they're have they all been to Taiwan before?
All of them have been to Taiwan. Yeah, all of them have. Most of my boys have honestly most of their life has been spent in Taiwan. So
Oh, that's
it's
super
really
cool.
it's really strange being here in the States because they feel like foreigners, being here in the States so long. So it's interesting and it's definitely a cool perspective that they get to have.
Yeah, I think most fans, including me, are most familiar probably with Pax just because he has been featured on a
Mm.
lot of Braves
Yeah,
videos and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because Pax is the oldest, so Pax is the one that was all over the cameras, and he was obviously the one that was able to kind of do a little bit more of the interviews and different things like that. But the funny thing is like my other two, Koa and Tatum, were actually born in Taiwan, so like they're actually more, I guess Taiwanese than Paxton is, but yeah, my kids, they love it. They miss it every day. So yeah, Taiwan definitely holds a special place.
That is good to hear.
Yeah.
You think they're going to be interested in basketball?
Oh, yeah. I think it's I think honestly that the weird part is I think when you're playing, you're so in it, and they're going to all these games and going to all these events, especially when you're playing, and they're like so die hard basketball. But like the fact that they haven't seen that in a little bit because I haven't really been playing that,
Right.
like that. It's especially here in the States, it's football season. So like my son's like watching the Dallas Cowboys and he's like playing football and doing these things, and I'm like, he's like, Daddy, I want to play football, and I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, nah, that's not happening. But like they all still love basketball, and I think Pax is kind of a natural at it. I think a little bit, even though he's 7, right? But I think
Hmm.
he does have a natural feel for it. So they love it, but I think it'll be interesting to see kind of what they grow into.
Right, right. I mean, I guess he did kind of watch you or grow up watching you play the most, right? Like he
Yeah,
was basically in
he's
Taiwan.
yeah. So he's been the one that's kind of seen it all, right? Like he saw me from not only in Taiwan, but like he saw me in Thailand too when he was like really young. So his whole life has been basically kind of seeing me play. Whereas the other two, like Koa, got to see those last kind of 2 years in
Hmm.
Taiwan, and then Tatum didn't get to see any of it. So that's, I think that's one of those things that's really cool to have, but also like got to have Tatum be able to see something because, I don't want to I don't want him being the only one that's like, wait, daddy used to play basketball? Like what happened? Nah, I got to make sure that he gets to see a little bit of action.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta get you back in action, man.
Absolutely,
Like,
man.
look, in the meantime, look, all the games for Plus League games are still free on YouTube. So like,
There is, dude. I
that's a
watched them
source.
all. I watched, P League hasn't started, but I watched, I watched TPBL, and I
Hmm.
still watch, man. Like I still watch those games when I can, and I've played against so many of those, so many of those players and stuff like that, and I still have so many friends that I just enjoy watching it, and I love basketball, but I definitely love watching Taiwanese basketball. Anything else?
Yeah, no, that's super nice to hear. Since we're talking about basketball, let's transition into that a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, was your first experience with Taiwanese basketball when during the ABL? Was that
yeah.
the first time?
ABO. ABO was the first time. ABO was the first time we came. I was playing with Thailand, and we came and played the Braves when they had
Oh,
OJ and Chuck and who's the other import? Maxi Esho.
mm.
So that was my first. That was my first time in Taiwan and in Taipei. And I was like, this place is nice. I was like, this is sweet. I was like, this is y'all's arena, like y'all this huge arena that y'all get to play in. So from there, I was kind of like, this would be a cool place to play, and luckily, I was able to kind of get the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, man, you made it your own. Like,
I
it's kind of
did. I
crazy how
tried
life
to.
works.
Yeah, dude, unbelievable, man. It was an unbelievable blessing for sure.
But yeah, I guess what was your first impression of Taiwanese basketball? Like, first when you first got here, and how did that impression kind of evolve as you kind of play through your years in Taiwan?
Yeah, I think like for me, I think I was really surprised by being in Thailand. I was in Thailand for like 4 years, so playing like in the local league and playing in those leagues in Thailand, you kind of there's some teams that are really really good, and then you have some teams that necessarily aren't as talented. But the first thing I kind of witnessed in Taiwan was like I was like, oh, these guys are like these guys are pretty good. Like there's talent, and it was kind of spread out too, right? Like obviously
Hmm.
Fubon had they had a lot of talent, obviously by playing them in the ABL, but even the Dreamers at that point, like playing them too, and there was talent throughout the country and throughout when the league started. So I was kind of I was kind of shocked at how talented it was, and I was like, this is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. I'm gonna have to kind of bring my A game for sure.
I mean, you sure did. You, you mentioned talent. Like, were there any standouts during your period in Taiwan? Can you like give me maybe one important, one local player that really caught your
Ooh.
eye?
Oof. Um, Honestly, for me, and this is gonna kind of throw it back a little bit.
Uh huh.
My first year, I think one of the toughest guys that I had to go against was in Taiwan was Jaron Young
Uh huh.
from the Dreamers. He always made it really difficult for me. Like I had to make sure that I was really, really on top of my game, and he made it really difficult for me, especially early on because he was so athletic. He was so good, and the way that they played, they were so good. That team was really good. Him and Anthony Tucker, and they had so many guys. So they were so good. And then as far as like locals, honestly, I love Achi. I
Oh
love him.
wow,
I
two
love his
dreamers.
game. Yeah, I love his game. And I think for me, he's been one of the ones that I've seen kind of evolve like over the time, especially my time being there and even seeing him play now, like he's grown so much, right? Like I remember at
Hmm.
first it was kind of like this, short kind of guy, and then but like he kind of could score and he was kind of crafty. And now I remember even my last year playing in Taiwan, like he was a big time part of our scouting report,
Hmm.
and somebody that we really, really had to focus on and somebody that we really had to pay attention to. So, um, yeah, Dreamer Central over here. Those guys were tough, and those teams were good, and those were always some of our toughest. I mean, my toughest matchups for sure.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because back in the day, the Braves and the Dreamers kind of had like a healthy rivalry going on.
We had a little bit of a beef, man, for sure. We
Yeah.
definitely had a beef for sure. But I think those games were so fun, that I look back on those games. Those games were so fun, and we had to really, really battle those guys, and they didn't make it easy for us at all.
Yeah, like you said, like I feel like one of the bigger regrets, at least from my perspective, was that inaugural season we didn't get to see you guys play out the entire finals,
Yeah.
right? Like it was a crazy
Yeah.
series to get started, but yeah, COVID happened, so
Yeah.
like,
and that was tough. I think like that was one of those things. I think that's one of the things that I feel like I don't want to say regret because I don't think like that's the word for it, but like I was kind
yeah,
of sad that we didn't actually get to kind of like actually finish that out. Do I think we would have won it? Yeah, absolutely. But but I also think like that series was so fun. There were so many changes and so many things that I had to adapt a lot of different ways. From me, not just scoring, but I like had to figure out like how to get my teammates more involved because the defense was kind of honing on me a little bit. So yeah, that series was tough, and it was just a weird time. COVID was a weird time, man. It was just a weird time.
So going back to your Braves tenure, like your time in Taiwan, was there ever like your favorite season? Like, is there a favorite season of yours?
Honestly, I think the second season was my favorite. Just because I think, like you said, like kind of going back off like the COVID thing, like it was kind of like, hey, you're champions. Like it was kind of that feeling, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like, oh, we felt like we earned it, but also it was kind of one of those things that like we didn't really finish it. So it was kind of that in between of, did you really earn it? And I think that second season was really one of those things to where I think as a team, and for me, I kind of felt this. I was like, we got to go earn it. Like we got to go show that like that we weren't just kind of gift wrapped a championship, right? So to me, that second season was really, 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 really challenging, I think, in that way. And obviously the Lioneers were so dominant all year. Like, I mean, they were dominant all year with Sim. And, I remember we didn't know necessarily how we were going to match up or how we were going to beat them. And so to me, I think that second year was really, really, really special for me. I think that was something, we were put up this challenge and we kind of rose to the occasion, and everybody did. And we were able to kind of get it done and kind of solidify the fact that we actually did, we deserved it and we earned it.
Yeah, like for some context, the Lioneers were number one in regular season standing, and they like individual award wise, like I think Sim was
So
Import of
good.
the Year, like coaching staff of the year was the Lioneers. But I remember Coach Greg like going on a show recently saying that like the Braves like coaching staff and the players literally just solved like what they were doing at the time. And like
Yeah.
you along Beast, I think you guys were like two of the standout
Mhm.
performers in that series, and that was honestly my first year officially working
Yeah.
with the Plus League, so I remembered those times very vividly. But yeah, it was kind of amazing to see you guys because a lot of people wrote you guys off, like because the Lioneers, like you said, were dominant.
They
But
were so dominant, and there was nobody that could literally guard Sim, by themselves. Like, and so he did so many different. He made it so hard, and they had Oscar, and like had all these guys like making shots and different things like that, and it made it really tough. But luckily, like I said, our coaching staff put together like a really good game plan, and we had a lot of guys step up. Like Jack, like he stepped up huge. You know what I mean? Like that was a weird time because I remember there was a game where Z didn't play and we didn't have a big guy, and like
right,
Jack had to play 5, and like he's guarding Sim, and it was just so to me that was special because we were able to kind of solve the problem that a lot of teams that had all year and we had all year, and we really, really took it, and we earned it.
yeah. Speaking of Jack, shout out to him because he's back in Taiwan now after one season in
Yes.
Japan. So like the
Yes.
Braves are looking scary this year again.
They're loaded, man. They
Yeah.
are loaded from top to bottom. They're loaded. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun to watch them and the Pilots. And obviously anything can happen, but between them and the Pilots, I mean, it's gonna be a tough battle. They had a tough one this past year, so it's gonna be. I kind of expect the same.
Yeah, no, like I would say don't sleep on the Ghost Hawks as well. Like they just got Kenneth Fareed. Obviously, they still got
That
a
too.
young core, a
Yeah.
solid young core going on. Even the Yankee Arcs, I know they're like an expansion
You
team,
never
but
know, and that's the thing. Like you never know, especially in the P League and stuff like that. There's so many different things that can happen. And so many different changes that can happen and things like that. So you just never know, but it'll be exciting to watch for sure.
yeah, I mean that's basketball for you.
Absolutely.
So obviously you played in multiple countries, as you mentioned earlier, Thailand being one. Like I guess my question is, what made Taiwan so special for you as a player, and just like spending so many years here?
uh, I mean, I think there's probably like two parts. I think like
Hmm.
one, I love the fans, like the fans and their like the diehardness that they have, right? And they love basketball. Like, and I love playing in countries, and I've been blessed to play in a few countries that the fans just really love the game. And yeah, they cheer their teams on and whatnot, but they really just love watching basketball. And I think like that makes it super unique for imports that get to go play in these countries, is like they get that feel of like, wow, like these fans like really, really love this game. Right. And
Hmm.
that makes it fun to play in. And then two, for me, like what makes Taiwan so special for me is like I I got to watch like my kids grow up there, like for real. Like, and especially having two kids born in Taiwan, like, which is something that I never would have thought of, right? Like I never would have thought my kids would have been born overseas, especially in a
Hmm.
different country. And to say like that I have two of my boys that were born in Taiwan is super special. So to me, I think like that'll always kind of be and always kind of feel like home to me a little bit. And those are kind of the two reasons why I think.
Yeah, I would say like watching from afar, I think it's kind of awesome that this appreciation is kind of reciprocated, right? Because at like you would know better than anyone, right? In ports, when you're playing international basketball, or overseas basketball, like there's a lot of moving parts, right? You don't get to stay at one place for a couple of years. It rarely happens,
Very rare.
and yeah, and I haven't really seen that many players since 2020. Like players that kind of captured the heart of the fans like you did. But I do have a follow up question about
Okay.
that because does Pac speak Mandarin
He
when he was here?
does.
Like he learned Mandarin.
He does. He does. And we're trying to, being here in the States, like we're just not in an area to where he speaks it all the time.
Right.
So we're really trying to kind of get him tutors and try to really, really hone in on that, because like he really does, like he really understands it. He speaks it well. And we're trying to like just make sure that he kind of keeps up with it, because, he was there for, 4 years. So like he was in classes at school wherever they were speaking to him in Mandarin. So like he understands that he can speak it. So I want him to kind of keep that up, because that'll be really cool for him to have as he gets older.
Yeah, like that's kind of what I was trying to allude to, right? Like you don't see stuff like this with imports in
Uh,
Taiwan that often. Not just Taiwan, like everywhere.
yeah,
Just like
it's
you know,
super. It's super rare, man. And I think like I know a lot of fans kind of wonder why maybe that is the case. And
mhm.
it's just kind of how like, international basketball kind of is. It's super rare that you see one import kind of stay with the same team for multiple years. You'll see some situations where you get an import for like 2 years or and that's kind of it. But most of the time, it's really just kind of a year to year thing. So for me to be able to kind of spend 4 years there in Taiwan is like really, really amazing. And it's really cool to look back on and be like, man, it's a really, really huge part of my life. And like, I'm grateful that I was able to kind of like be a part of it and kind of able to take it all in.
Yeah, for sure. You saw the peak at least up to this point, right? You saw
Yeah,
the peak of Taiwanese basketball so far.
absolutely.
3P can't go like it's you did pretty
Absolutely, man.
well.
Absolutely. We did all right. We did all right.
Yeah, so kind of changing directions here. Obviously the fans last saw you in 2024, right? When we last saw you, you suffered a pretty gruesome injury
Hmm.
off a loose ball with Brendan Gilbeck. Can
Hmm.
you kind of walk us through like what that moment was like for you and just kind of what happened?
Yeah. I remember the game. Honestly, the weird part is like I remember I was having a good game. Like I remember I was playing pretty well.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was a big game for us. You know, I think we were going into that game and we were really, really like we needed that game. And it was
Right.
really, that Dreamers team was really good. Like I said, they've always given us, tough battles. So for us to go in there and I think we played really well that game. And I felt like I played, pretty well as well going into it and got close to the end. And I saw Doug on me and Coach Doug now.
Coach Doug, yep.
Coach Doug now. Shout out to Doug.
That's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Doug. But I saw him on me and I thought, okay, well, to me, I felt like it was kind of a little bit of a mismatch. So I was going to, kind of attack it and went behind the back and kind of lost my dribble a little bit and saw it within reach and figured, all right, well, cool. You've lost it. Just pick it up and like, we'll kind of figure out what to do after that and like make a play out of it. And as I was going to reach, I just kind of out of the corner of my eye, kind of saw Gilbert kind of diving for the ball. And, it was too late for me to kind of think anything of it. Like normally sometimes you're able to kind of get your leg out of there or you're able to kind of hop out of the way or whatnot. But
Right.
the way my leg was just kind of already planted there and he just kind of dove in and kind of hit it in that spot, man. And it just, like I said, it wasn't fun. Didn't feel fun. But honestly, at the moment, like I didn't really think anything of it. Maybe it was adrenaline. Maybe it was just my competitiveness, my like crazy mindset that I feel like I have. And, I just kind of thought it was something like, oh, okay, well, like maybe I just kind of tweaked my ankle a little bit. Right. Cause I didn't see the,
Right.
I didn't see the thing. I just felt like, okay, well, it kind of hurts to kind of put some weight on it. And then as I got more and more to the bench, and when I finally got to the bench, I was like, yeah, I can't put any weight on this thing. So when I figured out I couldn't really put weight on it, I was like, okay, well, that's more than an ankle, right? Like I was like, that's not just an ankle. And so went, got the x-rays and everything. And, I'm sitting there and I'm still in my head thinking, okay, well, like maybe it's just a bad, like high ankle sprain or something. Cause
Right.
my ankle was swollen like pretty bad and get to the doctor and getting the x-rays and they come back and they tell me like, hey, you have a broken bone. And I was like, wait, what?
Man.
And at that moment, like my heart kind of like sank, man. Like I was just like, whew, okay. Like, so, and I'm going in my mind because my mind, the way that my mind works is like, I'm like, okay, what's next? Right. Like, okay, broken bone. Okay, doc. Okay. What does that look like? And they kind of told me what that was. And when they told me like, you're probably done for the year, I was like, wait, what? And so for me, like that was hard. Because that's that's the only time I've ever been, injured that severely and been out for an
Right.
entire, like basically had a season ending injury. So for me, it was hard to kind of wrap my head around it a little bit. And, but in my mind, I think in the back of my mind, I was still like, okay, well, he said I might be done for the year, but like, that's not going to happen. Like I'll be back. Right. And I think I tried to do everything I could to kind of do that. And, it just, like we said, it didn't work out. And, it's hard watching from the sidelines. Like, I don't know, for me, I'm so much of a competitor that I'm just like, I want to be in the battle. Like I want to be in it.
Right.
And my role kind of shifted, my role kind of shifted from being this vocal showing by example and going out there and doing these things to now I had to be almost like a vocal coach, like from the sidelines. And that was a strange thing. It's something that I've never been used to or, never had to do. So yeah, it was a really strange year, man. And so now that I look back on it, now I think at this point, like, I really do believe like things happen for a reason. And I think there was some growth there for me. Like, I think for me to be able to kind of sit back and kind of observe, from the sideline. Obviously it sucked, like obviously it sucked. It wasn't fun, but I think there was some growth in that, and I think, It's made me into a different person, better person, I think, to be able to kind of go through that and to be able to see different things and see it from a different perspective. Honestly, at this point, like, no, go back, like, we're cool, dude. Like, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? And I think like at the moment, I think in the moment initially, you know, I think I was a little mad, right? And I think there were a lot of people that were kind of like fighting for me and being like, oh, that was, you know,
Right.
oh, that shouldn't have happened. And at the end of the day, like, it's just basketball. I don't think he was trying to hurt me by any means. Like, I really don't. I don't think he's that type of player. I don't think he's that type of guy, right? I just think it was just an unfortunate thing that happened. And, you know, obviously it took me a long time to get to that place of being like, all right, I forgive you, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Like, we're good. But now I'm at a place where I'm like, hey, man, like, it's all good. Like, everything's fine. Like, and, you know, I've grown from it and it's made me a better person. And I've learned a lot from it.
I was looking up on the box score for that game. You had 26 and 17, and the Braves won the game. So, like, for what it's worth, like, you know, like that's the bright spot, I guess.
Yeah. I remember watching the game on the way to the hospital, like being like, all right,
You're still tuned in.
Yeah, like, did we finish it? Like, I'm like, did we finish it out? And so, honestly, a weird part about that is like, that was the first game. That game was the first game that my mom and my little brother actually came and got to see me play overseas.
Oh, man.
So the very first game that they get to see me play overseas, having a good game, and then they see me have a season-ending injury, which stinks. And then my wife was pregnant with my littlest Tatum, and she gave birth to him, like, I don't know, a couple weeks later. So, yeah, that was a weird time, weird year. But definitely, you know, it was something that happened and something that I was, you know, I've kind of learned from and grown from. And it's, you know, it's really, really shaped. Honestly, it's really, really shaped our family. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm kind of grateful for it, you know?
Yeah, like you said, I believe in, you know, like, everything happens for a reason too. Like, I'm a believer of that. And you mentioned earlier, a lot, like, and you see a lot of athletes go through this as well when they go through big injuries. They come back mentally fortified, but there is still like a physical component to it, right? Like, how do you feel right now? Are you 100% back? Like,
no, right now I feel great. Like, honestly, I think right now, like, I feel like no limitations. Like, I feel great, you know, and I've passed all my, you know, I've passed all my checks, passed all that stuff. Everything's back to normal. I feel, you know, honestly, my body feels really good, surprisingly. And I say surprisingly because I think, like, one of those things, obviously, as you get older, right? Like, your body's, you feel a little bit more nicks and knacks, right? But I think for me, like, being out for that length of time, you know, my body kind of got like a refresh, if that makes sense. Like, being with Fubon, like, us being those finals for 3 years in a row, right? And like winning those 3 years it was great. And people, you know, obviously that's an accomplishment that, like, I never want to take away from Fubon and from us and what we accomplished, right? But there's a toll that comes with that. And mentally, physically, there's so many different factors that go into that. And for the fact that I was able to kind of literally have to take a refresh and literally have to hit the pause button, I think it really, really did like a great thing for my body. Like, I feel much better now. I feel lighter. I feel stronger, and, you know, I feel great overall, you know. So for me, I'm kind of anxious and excited. I want to be able to kind of get back out there and you know, and play again and show that, you know, I can still play at a really, really high level.
Yeah, and I feel like your play can kind of vouch for that too, because you came back to Taiwan a couple months ago for the BCL game, and your first game, man, like, you hit a game winner, like, it's like,
and I don't, and honestly, man, and I think, like, you know, coming back to Taiwan, there were so many emotions in that game and so many different things. Like, I'm playing the Kings, and like, what kind of storybook? And honestly, like, it's literally, I think about it, I'm like, it's a storybook kind of thing, right? Of all the teams to play against my first game back, it's the team that that I had a lot of history with. A lot of these guys I know personally, and like Joe and Kenny and all these guys. And I'm like, that's the first game I get to play. Like, first game back, cool, awesome. And, just I think for me, it was just one of those things like, hey, you're here, dude, just go out there and play. And, obviously I think I played okay. I don't think I played great by any means, but I was just so happy and so blessed to like be able to like be out there and like even step on the floor. And after those first couple of times up the court, you're like, okay, this is just basketball, right? And the fact that I get to play in front of in front of fans and in a place where like I call like my second home at the end of the game, I think a lot of people have kind of seen that picture and, that emotion that I had in that interview post game. And that's really all that was. It was just like, man, I'm just grateful to be able to like be out here and to be able to do that in front of you guys again was really, really cool. And a really, something I cherish for sure. And, even at that point, I think I had some lingering things that kind of just happens when you don't play for a while, right? Some lingering stuff. And, but from then until now, like it's like I feel night and day different, and I feel, much, much more prepared and much, much more, physically ready for, the games and playing at the level that I want to play at.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for you, and I'm glad that it happened organically. It did feel like a full circle moment. I guess this will be the last point on your injury. I don't want to linger on that too much, but after injury, like there were a lot of different opinions and just chatters about like what happened and what's going to happen to you next, and just watching you from afar, I feel like you always handle things with professionalism. But it has to be challenging. It had to be challenging. And looking back, I just kind of want to give you this space and stage to share your side of the story. And what do you want people to understand about like what happened in that moment and what happened, the fallout of that.
Yeah, I think it was one of those situations, right, where Fubon, we were in a weird space. Right. Like I think that year, especially that fourth year, we were kind of up and down. Like we'd have games where we played amazing and we'd look like this awesome team. And then we'd have games where we just did not look good. And so, from an organization perspective, like I get that you're looking at it like, well, okay, well, their numbers might look great or we play great every now and then, but like, where's the consistency that we're used to having? And you're also coming off of like a three-peat, right? Like, I mean, think about it. Like most people, like even with the Bulls, even when they won three-peats, like there were changes that were made, right? Yep. And there was a lot of different moving parts and things that were going on that a lot of people might have thought like, hey, why are they doing that? Why are they breaking up the team or why are they making these moves? And you're just like, sometimes you need a refresh. Like sometimes you really do need like a restart. And I think that's kind of just like how it happened. Now I think like, obviously I think it sucks kind of how it happened, right? Like it sucks because it was kind of one of those things where like my injury kind of caused this kind of domino effect of okay, my injury happened and then we're having to go get all these different imports. And then, kind of Z was kind of banged up a lot for that season. And, and then we still had CJ and it was just kind of a weird thing. And, so, after the season, I think there was a little bit of conversations that had to be had. And, I think the organization, Chris I and Roger and, these guys, they had to make a decision for their team. Right. And especially moving forward. And, I think they didn't know what I was going to be like. Right. They didn't know necessarily how I was going to come back. And, obviously I think at the time, I was kind of frustrated by the fact that, I was given an offer, but I felt like it was an offer that I was just kind of coming at it from a perspective of why I'm going to be back, like no problem. Right. And so like, that's in my mind. So I'm still in this mode of like, well, yeah, I'll be back. No problem. I'll be back in like a couple of months, and my body felt like it was progressing to that level. And obviously things didn't really work out that way. But at the end of the day, like Fubon, they had to make a decision that was best for their organization. And like, I love those guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I love I love everybody in that organization, right? They're, a lot of them are, become like family to me, right? Like, and I still talk to a lot of them to this day. So, I think there was just some things that, that it just happened organically, and I think some people might think that I felt like I was maybe a little bit above the offer that was sent my way. And I don't think that that was the case. I was never above the offer that was given. I just was looking at it from a perspective of I'm going to be healthy soon. So give me an offer that is like me being healthy, if that makes
Right.
sense. Um,
Right.
and now when you look back at it, like that was the right decision from them. Like it really was. It was the best decision for their team. And like that's just the way that it happened. Like I said, it sucks that it happened like that, because I think there's so much more that like I think I wanted to accomplish with that team, and not just championships necessarily. Obviously, that's what we play for, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go and we play, and we play to win as many games and win championships as much as possible. But I think like there was so much more impact that I wanted to have, for the culture of just not only Fubon and the organization, but like for Taiwanese basketball in general. So the fact that I wasn't able to do that, and the fact that that kind of wasn't able to happen, it kind of stinks. And it's kind of one of those things that, I kind of look back on and I'm like, man, I wish, one, I wish I had the opportunity to do more. And two, I kind of regret the fact that I feel like I kind of had some things that I could have done a little bit more and could have done a little bit better in my time there. So, all that to say, man, like whatever kind of was swirled around out there and what was kind of talked about, and, you know, that's kind of what happened. And, like I said, I have nothing but love for those guys. I have nothing but love for, Coach Raj and Chris and Aaron and, Wei Wei and Jimmy, all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I love all those guys. That coaching staff is like amazing. And, and all my teammates, right? Like I love those guys. So for me, there's no hard feelings or ill will or anything like that. They made, in hindsight, now looking at it, they made the right decision. The way that they kind of handled it, I think maybe could have been handled differently, but that's just from my perspective, right? Like I think overall the decision was the best decision for the team, and yeah, they did the right thing.
Yeah, I will say I feel like that is the business side of the game,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you said, like that year, Fubon was already having an up and down year, and
Hmm.
like your injury kind of triggered the beginning of the changing of the guards. Let's
It
put it that
did.
way.
Yeah, it did.
And like you mentioned earlier, about impact, right? Obviously, I feel like there is interest in you going back to Taiwan and play basketball
Hmm.
there. And yeah, you never know what's going to happen. But I just kind of want to touch on like what kind of legacy or what kind of impact you want to leave behind if you were to be offered another opportunity to play in Taiwan again.
Ooh, I mean, I think like the legacy that I left before, um, after the injury, I think was one of this. People saw me as like this competitor, kind of crazy leader
A dog.
slash yeah, and like this guy that like this guy that like everybody talked about, like me just winning, right?
Hmm.
And I think like that's a cool legacy to have, right? Is to be considered a winner. Like that's really really cool.
Hmm.
But I also think like towards the end too, especially when I was hurt, there was more of a different side of me that people got to see, because I wasn't playing. So I think a lot of people really got to see the kind of leader that I actually am, because
Hmm.
it was all vocal, right? So that part of my legacy is something that I kind of really want to stand out more. I think is just like the type of teammate I am. Honestly, just the type of leader that I am, and a leader regardless of if I'm out there being able to play or not, right? Like I think like that is something that I feel like I'm kind of called to do, and something that I feel like I kind of just naturally have. And if I'm given another opportunity to go back to Taiwan and play again, I want to have, still want to have that impact as a leader. But I also want to show that the last time you guys saw me, right, is not like the lasting image, I think,
Right.
is the biggest thing. I think that's one of the things, right? Like, I don't want to be the last time that I played in a place that I love dearly to be that picture of me like on the floor in agonizing pain, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to be the end of my story in Taiwan, right? Like, I, would I love for my storybook ending to be this like fairy tale of like holding up the trophy, like MVP again, like all this stuff, like, yeah. And I think like that's what I strive for, right? Like, I strive to do those things, obviously, because I'm a competitor and I want to win in anything that I play. But I think there's so much more that I want to do if I got another chance to go back to Taiwan, and for the youth basketball, for all the people who are like trying to, for Taiwanese basketball in general. Like, I want to be a bigger advocate for that, just because I think I've seen the growth, right? So I've had a firsthand kind of eye view of, I would love to be a bigger part of it, honestly, in any way that I could, and getting back to Taiwan would help me kind of do that, and help me kind of be like, okay, like, yeah, I want you guys to see the next time that I play is not me on the floor, right? And me leading and being still the same person that I am, and just leaving a lasting impact bigger than just being a winner.
Yeah, I I do think, just if we're talking purely on the court, I think there's still a ton that you have to offer. Like, I don't want to bring up like retirement or your like
Yeah,
last chapter, that
no.
kind of stuff. It's by design. I don't want to bring that up
Yeah.
because I don't think like we're there yet. But
Yeah.
I do think, like we talked about earlier, right? You're like one of the few imports, or
Mhm.
just players in general, that I feel like can really kind of be that culture setter, and
Mhm.
just like helping Taiwanese professionalize basketball, moving that further along. I think you're
Yeah.
one of those few guys. So like, I feel like that's aligned with what a lot of people, me included, think about you when we think about like your legacy in Taiwan too. So
I
yeah, no,
appreciate that, man.
that's great. That's great to
And
hear.
I think that's the goal
Yeah, and look, man, you never know. Maybe
at
this is
all. You
the
never
year.
know,
Like,
man.
you never
Hey,
know. Like,
look, man, like we said earlier, I think, you know, I really, really do believe in things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. And if that is what I'm supposed to be doing, is to get another shot to be back in Taiwan, like, it'll happen. So
yeah,
I truly believe that. So, and when that time happens, I'll be ready.
yeah. I was just like, this just popped into my mind, but it would be kind of cool if you could go back to Taiwan this year and kind of participate in Beast retirement tour like that.
And
That's
I
kind of
think,
interesting.
yeah, I think like that's something, I think like that was another aspect of, I think, that final year for me is, I didn't know if that was going to be like it for him.
Right.
Um, and I was kind of upset because I was like, I don't want this to be your final year, and I'm sitting over here on the sideline, and I'm like not getting to battle with you, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think for me, like, me and Beast are so much the same in so many ways. I
Hmm.
think we're both dogs. Like Beast is a dog, right? Like, he really is. Like it just exudes out of him. And he's this just ferocious like competitor, and he just elevates everybody else's level of play, right? So
Hmm.
for me, like, not being able to do that, and not wondering if that was going to be his final year, like, was kind of, that kind of bummed me out a little bit. And then to see like that he played again last year, and then to see like him play so well last year, I'm like, okay, well, like, of course he's going to play. He has to play another year. And then so
Uh-huh.
now he says like it's his final year, and I'm like, man, I would love, to be able to be there to see, him, and to see him play again in his final year. And, hey, even if I don't get the opportunity to go back and play in Taiwan, maybe I'll fly over just to kind of to see him and to kind of send him off and show my respect and gratitude for him, because he's the GOAT. Like he's just the GOAT.
Yeah, no, you a go too, man. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of fans would love to see that happen.
Yeah,
It's a nice wrinkle.
it would be amazing, man. And like I said, I hope he stays healthy and just continues to be the beast that we all know and love, man. Because even at 43, he's still, which is crazy.
That's insane
It's
to
so
say.
crazy. It's insane to say, but like, man, I see him and like. I'm just so grateful, man, that I was able to like be a teammate of his, because like he really, really made me elevate myself. Right, there were times whenever I feel like I was working hard, and then you come into the gym early, and Beast is already in a sweat because he's already lifted and he's already got shots up, and you're like, all right, I need to up my
Yeah.
game. I need to up my game here, because this is ridiculous. So hopefully, man, I hope that I get to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. And the fans for sure wants you back in Taiwan,
Definitely.
man. Like we
Definitely.
want to see you playing again in
Definitely,
Taiwan.
man. Definitely.
But yeah, before we go, is there any last things that you want to say to the fans? Anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, to the fans, like I just want to say like how grateful I am for you guys. Like just the love and support that you guys have always shown me since I stepped foot in Taiwan is like truly, truly amazing. Um, like I said, it's when I say it's like really like a second home for me, like I don't say that lightly. That is a place that is very near and dear to my heart, and the people there are very near and dear to my heart. The fans who still message me to this day and still check in on me, and those things, like I truly, truly appreciate you guys, and I love you guys, and my family loves you guys. The way that you guys have loved my kids, especially Paxton, um, is truly, truly like amazing. It's very rare, like we talked about earlier, and so um, if I don't get to play in front of you guys again, I just want to tell you like how grateful I am, and thank you for the opportunity to actually be out there and showcase my talents for you guys, and just for the love, man. Like I love and appreciate you guys, and you guys will always be super, super near and dear to my heart.
That's very well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. And yeah, thank you for your time today, man.
Awesome.
Like,
Appreciate you, Quan, man. Have a good one,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, and I hope we get to see you play in Taiwan again.
Absolutely, man. Hopefully we get another ride for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for joining the show.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
Yep.